the ultimate alternative music channel. This is Revolution Radio.
All right, let's just shut that off and get this thing going, shall we? Can everybody give me a check one, check one, check one?
Check one,
Fuck
check one.
Fuck you. Check two.
I expect nothing less of you, Derek. Nothing less.
Good.
Welcome. This is Canadian as Fuck, Canadian AF, episode number 51. We've got two interviews tonight. We've got a super, super busy show, so we are going to get things going. We are going to talk to, right below me, a fellow by the name of Cory White. He plays in a fucking awesome band called Shocore. So we are going to chat with them, and we're going to chat with him and some other stuff that he's got going on too. So let's get things going. Dimitri, if you please.
Okay. Well, Canadian as Fuck would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. While we meet tonight on a virtual platform, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands we call home. And we do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility to improving relationships between nations, to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and cultures, and to try to move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that new thing, excuse me. Let me try that again. Acknowledgement that you give us. Once again, was introduced to this band. Well, basically, when I got into the alternative scene was the late 90s, early 2000s. I think the first time I heard these guys was probably around 2003. I couldn't tell you exactly. All I know was the very first thing that I heard from this band was this. Nope, not that. Hang on.
He's drank a loaf of bread already. He's fine.
No, I honest to God,
great.
I swear, that actually would have been so much cooler if I was able to do this.
It would have been.
That would have been amazing.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? Yeah, that would have been great. Yeah, I know. Oh, shit. Here's Shocore, Bonecracker. Episode 51, Canadian as Fuck on Revolution Radio. 102.1. No, I'm just kidding. Revolution Radio Canada. That was, of course, Shocore and Bonecracker. My introduction to this incredible freaking band, and hanging out with us tonight, Cory from Shocore. Thank you so much,
for the
brother.
American Chiropractic Association to buy that song from me.
Yeah.
My ship's going to come in one of these days.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Have you
definitely.
petitioned yet?
No, not yet.
We should.
I should, though.
We should.
Maybe I'll
So,
get one of those
Cory-
Geico commercials.
You should
Yeah,
make
exactly.
shirts with, like the American Chiropractic Society,
Yeah.
and then you and Show on the front. That would be lovely.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
A
definitely.
broken spine.
So this band basically is, of course, centered around you and Show Murray.
Yes.
Show's still with the band and everything?
Yes.
Everything's-
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that's
of course.
freaking
Yeah.
awesome, man. So how long? It's funny. I was doing some research on you guys today, and an interesting thing that of note, you have been a part of Last.fm for 23 years.
Wow.
So it's kind of, I know. I looked at that too, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
That explains this, I guess.
Yeah. Definitely. So I was wondering if you could just take us back to the early days of the band, you guys forming in Vancouver.
Holy fuck,
what
I
was
hardly
that?
remember those days. Oh, God.
Yeah.
You know what? It was one of those things. I left a band. We'd worked together. Show was in a band called Nephro, and he'd asked me to come in. I was hanging out with my dad, who had a place a couple blocks away from the studio the show was in, and we just become friends. He asked me to come in and help him work on a couple songs, and I went into the studio and helped him arrange and write a few parts for these songs, and we just worked really well together. And we kind of was like, it was kind of that magic feeling, when you meet somebody and you're creative with them and you just kind of know that it works. Mm-hmm. But I was still in the band DDT at the time, and I was leaving on tour a couple days later. And so then I went out and did the tour with DDT. We toured Europe, and then we went to the States. We did like Megadeth, and we played with everybody's least favorite guy these days, Kid Rock. It was a big American tour. We came back, and then basically DDT fired me, and it was like thankless and terrible, and it was a rough time. But that same day, I got a call from management from DDT from Atlanta, Georgia. A guy named Tom Barfield phoned me up and said, the band no longer requires your services. And I was like, what? I mean, they were taking a different direction, and it never really happened anyway. But and then that same day, Show called me up and said, like literally an hour later, "Hey man, what are you doing? I just got a studio." I was like, "Nothing." He said, "You want to come write some songs?" So I said, "Sure." And we locked ourselves in that studio for about 3 months. And the first song we wrote together was Bonecracker, funny enough.
Holy.
Yeah.
first
But it was
song.
great.
Wow.
It was one of those things where I'm leaning away from the mic. When we went into the studio, the vibe was just him and me. We had a keg of beer from our friends at R&B Brewing down in Vancouver here. And they just kept replacing the keg every week, and we just kept inviting friends down to record, and the more people came down, it kind of, it was work time from noon until about 10 o'clock at night. And then by 10 o'clock at night, the place was packed with friends, and, everybody's doing gang vocals and singing parts, and some guys playing bass and some guys playing guitar. And it just turned into one of those things. It was our clubhouse, And it was like that way for a few years,
man.
until
That's freaking cool.
that studio got sold. But yeah, it was amazing. It's just one of those stories, those rock and roll stories for me that, when a band gets in a situation like that, where two people meet or more, and then you get like a clubhouse to work out of that you go every day. It's your job to go there,
Yeah.
but it's not a job because it's so fun.
Yeah.
And then magic happens, and that's where I think a little magic happened.
And out of that came Devil Rock Disco.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Evolution as well. That was the next album, but same deal, same studio, same everything.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's freaking awesome.
And if you haven't listened to Evolution, it's a fucking banger of an album.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Did the song Bonecracker start with the guitar riff?
No, it started with that keyboard sound.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We were just sitting there and fooling around. And no, you know what? Actually, we were listening to an old rehearsal tape that Show had. And, bands, often record rehearsals, and it was his old band. And there was a song playing, but that part of that bass line was in the song. And we both did hey, wait, what's that bass part? And so then we isolated it and figured it out. And then we had that running in a loop. And then I think I said, okay, let's play some keyboard stuff and see what we can do. And he was like, wee-oo, wee-oo. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do that.
those riffs, those keyboards, and then getting into that banging bass and guitar is just mind blowing.
Yeah,
100%.
Hearing that come over a sound system in a fucking club like the Phoenix, or also we used to do another club called the Kingdom in Burlington.
Right.
And that song always was just so fucking amazing sounding over. That song was literally, Bonecracker was literally, Rudy is another fucking, I love Rudy. I think that's a fucking brilliant track. I just felt Devil
I thought
Rock
I was a
Disco
rap rocker
really,
for 5 minutes.
right, yeah. And you know what? What happened? Good for you. That's fucking awesome. Why not, right?
Oh God, Limp Bizkit, what did you do to me?
That's it, exactly. But I always felt
it was huge at the time.
yeah, I always felt Devil Rock Disco. I just thought Devil Rock Disco was just literally made for a nightclub. Like it was literally made for big PA systems. I don't know if you guys set out to do that kind of thing or if it was just a happy accident.
Total intention.
I mean, the band wanted to be a big stage rock band. That was the goal from the beginning. Was, it was the Kiss idea. We just wanted to have a big show with, big, easy songs to get and everything makes you move and there's lots of stuff to see and do. And, that was the whole idea from the beginning. You wanted to be bigger than life, the whole project. And even the last show we did, a bunch of 50-year-old men running around, with a bunch of 20-year-old scantily clad women on stage. It's a little different now, I think. But
I mean, like I said in the chat earlier, that song is timeless. It's rotation today on multiple genre stations.
Yeah.
It is.
It's on Revolution Radio.
It's on Revolution Radio, and it's still in rotation. So you got 50 something guys and them scantily clad women banging to that tune because it's one of few songs that come on the radio, and you're like, fucking yeah, man, this thing is just it'll last the test of time. I think.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's,
Core, can I commend
the goal
you
of
on,
everybody? Hey, buddy, what's up?
Can I commend you on your Evolution lyric drop there? Can I?
Which one was that?
Make you move. It's just a song that makes you move.
You move.
So I loved. So okay, I have inside information. I've seen these guys play live a couple times.
Slept at my house.
Slept at your house. Tattooed you in your kitchen.
Yes, indeed.
That's what we did. Now you had when I saw you guys play the first time I saw you guys play, you guys had Gabs with you.
Yep.
And you had Craig, Dimitri, Chris, that keyboard part, and all the little sound bites through Shocore's music are all done with Gabs had this fucking
sampler.
MIDI samplers caged thing that
it was a trigger rig that we built.
Beat the shit out of. It was amazing.
Show and I came up with the design. It's basically just PVC pipes with piezo triggers that we epoxied inside them and then covered with pipe insulation foam and then taped it on and we'd just have a ton of extra ones because they'd hit them so hard he'd smash the shit out of them. So
and next on the DIY network, we're going to build a guitar.
But we wanted to do something that was going to be cool, and nobody was really doing anything like that at the time. Where it was brand new, and it was something we invented, and we thought it was going to look way better than somebody standing at a keyboard just pushing the button.
That's cool.
So we thought, let's make it an active thing. Let's make it bigger than life, and that's what
you definitely earned your gray stripes on your beard with talking about piezo pickups. I haven't heard anybody say that word in about 28 years. So yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
So wondering, in regards to shows that you have these days, are you starting to see those 50-somethings coming out to your shows and bringing the young ones? Yeah,
so the last show was great. It was my one of my favorite stories about my daughter, who's now 25 years old. We were driving in the car one day, and Bonecracker came on the radio for the first time, and she was in the back seat, and she could just talk. And Dad, you're the big Bonecracker, and I'm the little Bonecracker, right? So cute, and so then fast forward to the last show here at the Rickshaw in Vancouver, and in front row there's my daughter and her husband just giving her the front row.
Amazing!
All their friends, all the back behind them. There's probably 20 of them. Just giving her. So that's pretty cool.
You're lucky because I know I've heard of so many people out there that are musicians that are like, my kids want nothing to do with my music at all. They think I suck. Like I'm not, I'm still dad, right? Even though there's literally, 20,000 people jumping up and down to their music. They're like, no, sorry. Don't get it.
Oh, my absolute favorite is watching anything to do with Tom Araya. If he brings his kids out, his kids are just like.
I've seen he's posted stuff like that on his Instagram and stuff.
He's like red carpeting going, ah! And his kids are just like, what the fuck, Dad?
Yeah, eye rolling.
Yeah. It's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh my God. She's 25 now, dude.
She's 25, man. And married.
Wow.
Yeah, to a great guy too.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah,
I said this a few weeks ago. I was recently at Massey Hall, watching Buddy Guy play live, and he ended up bringing out his son, who's also a guitar player. But like he said, growing up, his son just thought his son was embarrassed about like his father being this old blues guy. It's like none of my friends listened to that and everything. And then at some point, like he heard his father do something, and it's like, wait, you can do that? And then something snapped, and now he's a blues guitarist like his father. It's like, but it's interesting the way the kids are.
Yeah.
I had a question though.
Sure.
going away from generational talk. Yeah. So. Shocore Begins. The first song you work on is Bonecracker. What was your outlook and your relationship with hip hop going into Shocore? Like, because the cadence of the vocal is very hip hop related.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was in DDT, we had two singers, Brian House and myself, and a lot of times I would lean towards the more rhythmic vocal patterns and started like listening to more hip hop back then. And maybe that's why we ended up, going our separate ways in that band. I'm not sure, but I was leaning towards that and I wasn't very confident as a singer, like I wasn't confident in my own voice. I didn't know what my own voice was really. I'd been singing with Brian and doing that kind of thing and never really, my background was in radio before that, right? I worked with David Marsden actually in Vancouver at Coast Radio.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I got asked to join DDT in the beginning because I kind of knew a lot of people in the city, I think. And I think I was one of those people that got hired. And so then I started to do more, like I used more rhythmic vocal patterns because I wasn't confident in singing enough. And then as I got a little more confident in singing, I started doing that less because I felt a little inauthentic, I think, doing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So and now I look at it like, it was as authentic as it could be because I am who I am and I wrote the shit. So it's
exactly.
Definitely authentic. But, but I struggled with that for a while and I wanted to find my own voice. So. Mm-hmm. So could you tell us,
give us some of your, actually for you and Show, I'm sure you and Show have worked together for so long, some of your earliest influences, like the things that really essentially got the two of you to start writing music?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for him, but I know for me, like, I grew up with metal, so Maiden and AC/DC and
fucking
and that,
right on.
That was
there was a reason we loved you.
That's where I came, and then when I got out of high school, probably grade 12, I got into the early Chili Peppers and stuff like that, and
the really funky Chili Peppers.
like Freaky Styley. That was one of my favorite albums, and that led me into Fishbone. I got into Fishbone heavily for a while and stuff, and and so I went from metal to this metal funk to and then
ska.
Yeah, and I did a ska phase a bit, and DDT did some ska songs as well. My musical world went from metal to blah. And I started listening to anything I get my hands on. And then working in radio, as you get a chance to go see a million shows. Mm-hmm. You can see anything you want in the city because you work at the radio station. Yeah. So that really opened my mind too. And then as far as writing, I just, when I was writing with Shocore, Show and I, we had an idea of what we wanted to do. We wanted something that was us, that was fun, that was energetic, and like I said before, bigger than life. We just wanted it to be a party. We want you to come to our party every day.
Yeah. What were some of the best shows you saw at that radio station?
Oh my God! Oh Jesus, Lollapaloozas.
Those are
you
always,
know, and having
those
the
are always
opportunity-
not bad.
and having the opportunity to go up on stage and MC them, as a kid or whatever, that was pretty amazing. Meeting all your rock star pal or idols and stuff was pretty fun. Specifically, I don't know. There's so many shows I saw at the Commodore Ballroom that were that just knocked my socks
Commodore
off. I remember seeing
Ballroom.
Soundgarden and Mudhoney and Nirvana at the Commodore. Just millions of shows. I can barely remember those days as it is, for crying out loud.
What years roughly would you be able to tell us roughly what years you were at the radio station?
So that would have been, I think, 89 to 2000, or 89, sorry, to, what the heck would have been? Yeah, 89 to, no. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. I graduated in 88, so I started there that following year, I think. So that would have been 89. Yeah. And I worked for probably the station. I worked there, it was in Langley for a couple of years, and it moved to Vancouver for a few years. I think I was there for 4 years total, or 5 maybe.
Oh wow!
Something
So
like
you
that.
basically
4
got,
years.
you got essentially the beginnings of grunge.
Yes. Yeah, 100% I did. The beginnings of grunge happened while I was working in radio. Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, man!
Yeah.
Like,
That was-
do you remember
was cool.
being on air, and if there were any particular records, maybe that it was kind of like, holy shit! I think I might be the first one to play.
Well, I wasn't the first to play any of it, but I remember, I remember hearing Nevermind for the first time. Like I remember like holding that record in my hand for the first time, and Soundgarden for the first time. Yeah, like all that stuff.
But
Yeah, it was crazy.
but Vancouver being so close to Seattle, would you guys have like gotten rumblings earlier than the rest of us? Do you think?
Well, yeah, I remember Nirvana came up here like for Bleach and stuff, and all my friends, everybody's like, I gotta go see Nirvana, and I didn't go to that show, I regrettably, but and people that I knew were friends with Jason, the first guitar player, and blah, like everybody knows somebody, right? And so yeah, they spend a lot of time, I think coming back and forth to hear. Like I said, the first time I saw him was at the Commodore, so that's still, for Nirvana, that's a pretty small venue, 1,000 seats.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
So-
yeah. And did you see Nirvana? Did you ever end up seeing them?
I did, yeah.
Fuck, you're so lucky. I never saw them.
Oh, really?
Never saw them. Anybody
Yeah.
else here see Nirvana?
No.
Like
Wow.
you see, it's interesting.
No, I didn't like Nirvana.
Nirvana. Oh, fuck.
I know I said it there. I said it. It's out of
No,
the way.
and that's
Fuck's
why,
sake.
that's
Kill the
why I
metal,
like
man.
Army
Come on.
Chris.
You must be
Mike,
from
we covered
fucking
it.
Edmonton.
We covered this shit last week.
We did. That's why I like him. Me and
Yeah.
Martin used to get in huge arguments about Nirvana. He's like, "It's the greatest thing to happen in music." Blah 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 blah. And then I would argue, and then he says, "You listen to a group of people that refer to themselves as a gang, so you have no fucking legs to stand
Oh
on."
my god!
Because I like.
I got
Guns
in
N'
an
Roses.
argument with Chris Myers. He's a former PD at Harvard Media. A bunch of Harvard Media people were let go last week
Oh, yeah.
about what's the best, not the best word. The most. Okay, we'll say the best rock album of all time. We were fucking arguing all night.
Yeah. Oh, it
Best
happens.
rock and roll album of all night.
It happens.
Of all time.
Devil Rock Disco by
there
Shocore,
you go.
baby.
There you go.
There you go.
Boom.
Evolution.
Boom.
Part
Well,
that was easy.
Coming in
For now,
second.
that's what we're gonna go with.
If this wasn't attached, I'd drop it. So there you go.
That's
We
easy.
don't have enough time to get into it, but we had an argument about that. Like, you just argued about shit. No, I didn't. I don't like Nirvana. It kind of grew on me with the
Yeah.
Seattle sound evolution.
Sure.
But as we discussed, my musical tastes, much like Corey's, are fucking all over the board.
Yeah.
As I evolved. So,
Like, well, my favorite songwriters is Townes Van Zandt. So, like, really, my taste is eclectic. Every weekend
Yeah.
morning, I wake up and listen to Desert Island Jazz. Like, it's just, wherever I am, whatever my mood is what I go for, and that's just the way it is.
I think I find rock alternative fans I find are much more broad as far as their musical tastes go. Whereas
Yeah.
kind of one of the things that I loved about DJing in the clubs and DJing alternative music was you could play Outkast, you could play Nirvana, you
Yeah.
could maybe play a Beatles track, and you could play fucking, Heard It Through the Grapevine. There was a club in Toronto, it was called Whiskey Saigon. And it was fucking amazing. And I worked at Whiskey for 6 years. And if it made people dance, you could play.
Asses
I remember
moving.
I used to.
That's
I
awesome.
remember I used to beat match Notorious B.I.G.'s "Hypnotize" into Nine Inch Nails' "Closer."
Right. Awesome.
and they worked perfectly.
Great.
That's awesome.
That
They
would work perfectly.
They worked fucking
I can imagine
perfectly.
it.
And
Yeah.
that mix drove people absolutely insane. So
Cool.
That was one of the things too. Oh, just so you know, Corey, I have to say Bonecracker mixes perfectly into Jackalope's Pretty Life.
So you're
Perfect.
funny you mentioned that, Greg, because I don't know if anybody, how many DJs are on there right now, but with Serato stems right now, like I am fucking tweaking to go start playing with Bonecracker with stems because it's gonna just game change it.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
Do you know about this, Corey? Mm-mm. So essentially, well, you know what Serato is, obviously.
I'm
right?
not sure what that is now.
No. Oh, okay. So it's it's the DJ playback program that I'm actually using tonight. So
Okay.
essentially, all it does is it stores music for you, and
Yeah.
you use a controller to play everything back.
Right.
Serato has just come out with this new thing called stems, where you can actually take each stem that's made up in a piece of music, so you can isolate the vocals and the bass and drums and
Oh, wow.
everything like that. You can literally remix stuff on the fly. And when you're dealing with stuff like yours that's done to a click track, it's fucking perfect because you know it's automatically going to link up. It's going to synchronize with anything that's at exactly the same BPM. So
Nice.
It's a massive
Be-
game changer, and that song is gonna just rip it in stems.
be
Cool.
be
That's
be
awesome.
ready for somebody to shoot you a remix of that soon. So
Oh,
it'll
I can't wait.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
man.
probably
That's,
happen.
that's really cool. Hey,
So-
did you guys hear about Gordon Lightfoot, man? I don't bring anybody down, but he
Yeah,
just passed.
no.
eh?
As a matter of fact,
Yeah, he did.
Army Chris just sent me the bad news. We're actually going to finish we're going to finish the program tonight with
84
with
years old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with some-
84. That's
with
a
some
good run,
bad
man. That's a good run for a rock and roller. Well, I mean, not rock and roll, but you know what he is.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's been in it for since
Forever.
forever.
I knew he hadn't been well, but I didn't know that he had passed.
Yeah. Army Chris just told me literally about a half an hour before the show started.
I like that he got that
So-
last show in at Massey though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Fuck, when
Hey,
I was
Clark.
when I first started the radio station, man, my answering machine on my phone at my apartment, I lived in a little dingy basement suite. Was my answering machine? You'd phone my house and it would go dial old days with no cell phones. You know, we're not home. We can't come to the phone, so please leave your name and your number.
Nice.
Fantastic. Oh, that's amazing. I love
Jesus.
it. Fucking
Corey,
beautiful.
before
Good for you.
we throw to this last song. Now I know that
Yes.
I love saying that I know because I know things. Are you still doing documentary stuff? Are you still doing voiceover shit? Like,
I haven't for a while. No, I kind of dropped out of that game. But I'm planning on actually trying to get back in the next couple of years. It's pretty competitive here in Vancouver. And I had a whole bunch of other things going on when I came back from Chicago. I got pretty busy. I did a thing for CBC for Keeping Canada Safe. It was called, I think, was the series I did for those guys. And then I kind of backed away from it for a while to get into some other things that I was, this band management stuff and doing some work in film and stuff like that. So yeah, but I plan on trying to get back into it. I think I really like doing that stuff. It's my happy place too. There's a few happy places I have. That's one of them.
that's
That's
you got to
awesome.
have a happy place, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you still doing continuity stuff for film and that?
No, not continuity, man. No, so I just finished this thing for Disney up on a mountain for like 2 weeks. I did a Neanderthal village. So, creating.
Amazing.
Yeah, just it's just fun shit, fun creative shit. That's really what I like. So,
That's awesome.
That's
dude.
awesome.
Yeah, we haven't.
Do you have like
Corey and I haven't spoken in what seems like too long a time.
it's been way too long. We periodically pop into each other's Instagrams and say hello,
Yeah,
but
and we're just
not
like, hey,
much.
this stuff.
Yeah, hey, buddy, how are you? Good to see you're still alive. I love you.
Yeah. How are the
Any, any-
white children?
Everybody's doing well. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad.
any live gigs you want to plug
Well,
coming up?
there's nothing for Shocore coming up in the next little bit. I'm still trying to herd the cats to get everybody into a rehearsal space.
Come to Edmonton.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Come to Toronto.
Yeah, well, I'd love to. Well, we'll
I'm
see. how it
sure. I'm
goes.
sure Hugh will put you on it. Like Hugh will do something.
Oh yeah, I'm
He
sure. he
loves
would.
you.
Yeah, he's my pal. We're a good guy. I love that guy. He's always been really good to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some hats shows coming up. How about June 15th in Burlington? The hats are going to play.
Oh,
yeah?
really?
So Show will be
yeah,
there because
yeah.
Show's playing guitar with the hats, right?
Totally.
Oh, fucking awesome. That's
There you go.
fantastic.
There you go.
Very cool.
Is So that's the festival. That's a Burlington Festival, right?
It's the Sound of Music show?
And then, yes, I believe that's the Sound of Music, and then Kitchener on August 12th.
Okay,
That'll be there as well. So,
Kitchener,
But
Kitchener's not far.
But how has Vancouver done with now that the world's come back?
Yeah.
Did you have like a lot of live events live venues go out of business during the pandemic?
no, I don't think that they went
like-
out. I think that they got the subsidies and they hung on. I mean, I guess the Imperial went down but that wasn't because necessarily of COVID. It was more like because of the homeless problem. We have, massive tent city downtown Vancouver that they've just taken away again. So people relocated and then they, it keeps coming back. But that one of the places they parked was right in front of a club that was pretty popular and a really good club. And so they couldn't open the club because there was a fire hazard and too many tents in the way.
Oh, wow.
So,
jeez.
yeah.
I was in Van last week. I said this last week in the show, a week and a half ago. And
Yeah.
I had been there since 2008, and my buddy's like, "Oh no, they cleaned it up." I'm like, "Dude, this is 10 times worse than what was here last time, man."
Yeah, it's really third world downtown right now, man. It's crazy. I don't know what they've again, all the tents are gone now, which I mean they've moved into different parks, I think. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have an answer for this one. That's a little above my pay grade for sure.
Exactly. Well, apparently it's above a lot of government pay grade too. So
absolutely.
Apparently. But anyway, won't go there. Not tonight. We're going to celebrate. Thank you so much to our man Corey for hanging out with us, brother.
Thanks,
Really
guys. I appreciate you asking me on here.
Honestly, well, no, you can come back anytime you like. No problem.
Sure.
So definitely gonna just keep us posted if anything new comes up, man. Like, let us know because we'll definitely get it on the air.
I definitely will.
Yeah, for sure. And we just, we've always been big, huge fans of yours, brother. So
thanks, man.
all the
I
best to you.
that.
And I'll talk to you soon about Ivan.
Okay.
And if you don't mind.
No,
okay,
anytime.
so we're just going to sign off tonight with another track that was a brilliant cover of the Daniels Band's The Devil Went Down to Georgia. This is fucking awesome.
Nice.
That's all I can say about this.
And it's better than Nickelback's version. I'm just saying that for the record.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Alrighty. The Devil Went Down to Georgia is right here by our man Cory White and his band Shocore. Episode 51 with Cory White hanging out with us live, and this is Revolution Radio Canada.
Thanks, Corey.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, man.
Georgia, and he was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind, he's way behind, he was willing to make a deal. When he came across this young man sawing on a fiddle and playing it hot, the devil jumped up on a hickory stump, said, "Boy, let me tell you what, I guess you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you play a pretty good fiddle, son, but give the devil his due. Bet a fiddle of gold against your souls, think I'm better than you." The boy said, "My name's Johnny, and it might be a sin. I'll take your bet, you're gonna regret, 'cause I'm the best there's ever been. Johnny, rising up your bow and play your fiddle hard. The hell's broke loose in Georgia, and the devil deals the cards. If you win, you'll get this shiny fiddle made of gold. But if you lose, the devil will get your soul." His case, he said, "I'll start the show." And fire flew from his fingertips as he rosined up his bow and pulled the bow across the strings. It made an evil hiss, and a band of demons joined in. That sounded something like that he'd been beat. He laid that golden fiddle on the ground at Johnny's feet. Johnny said, devil, just come on back if you ever want to try again. I told you what, you son of a bitch, I'm the best there's ever been. Run, boys, run. Devil's in the house of the rising sun. Chicken in a red pan, picking out dough. Granny with a dog, I know John knows.
Fucking awesome, dude. Thank you, brother.
Thanks,
that was
guys.
awesome, man. Thanks a lot, Corey.
Right on.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Talk soon.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, buddy.